Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. The snow had only just begun to melt along the edges of Hope Valley when whispers started drifting through the town like the softest brush of wind. At first, the townspeople thought it was simply the changing of the seasons that made people walk a little lighter, smile a little brighter, and gather in small clusters near the cafe or the schoolhouse. But before long, a different kind of energy, one laced with excitement, curiosity, and a hint of disbelief settled over the valley. The kind of energy that could only mean one thing: something big was coming. Something that involved two of Hope Valley's most beloved souls, Elizabeth Thornton and Constable Nathan Grant. Ever since the season 13 promotional teasers began surfacing, fans all around the world felt a shift they'd been hoping for, dreaming of, and debating for years. But nothing compared to the buzz inside Hope Valley itself. Each new teaser seemed to drop another clue so subtle, so beautifully crafted that audiences found themselves frozen in awe. Elizabeth and Nathan exchanging a meaningful look. Elizabeth clutching a letter close to her heart. Nathan standing outside the schoolhouse with a small velvet box partially hidden in his coat. And that one particular moment so quick you could blink and miss, at where Elizabeth's eyes glistened as she whispered, "Sometimes the answers we seek find us at last." Hope Valley knew those words were not random. They were a confession, a turning point, a doorway into a future she had been afraid to open, yet one she was undeniably drawn to. Elizabeth had spent so many seasons caught between memories of the past and the fragile potential of what might come next. After losing Jack, the idea of loving again had felt like breathing underwater. Impossible, but time, as Hope Valley always seemed to prove, had a way of healing wounds with the help of community, friendship, and the gentle persistence of unexpected love. And Nathan Grant, kind-hearted, steadfast, patient to a fault, had never pushed her, never pressured her, only loved her quietly, deeply, even when she wasn't ready to see it. But this season felt different. The teasers didn't simply hint at a romantic gesture. They hinted at finality, at a chapter closing, and a new one opening. Not just for Elizabeth and Nathan individually, but together. Hope Valley looked ready. The world looked ready. And even Elizabeth, who had once stood in the shadows of uncertainties. The scene that captured the entire fandom happened at sunset. Elizabeth stood near the edge of the bridge where she had once walked with Jack, and later with baby Jack tucked warm against her heart. That bridge symbolized her past, her growth, her heartbreak, and her healing. And there, in the golden light, Nathan approached slowly, as if knowing that every step he took toward her was a promise in motion. He didn't speak at first. The teaser showed only the outline of his silhouette moving closer, his hat slightly tilted, his expression unreadable but tender. Elizabeth's breath caught viewers could almost hear it even, though the teaser had no dialogue for those few seconds. It was the kind of moment Hallmark beautifully crafts, silent but loud, simple but emotionally heavy. And when their eyes finally met, fans felt the entire weight of the last several seasons come full circle. But the real surprise was the quick frame that FOLLOWEDA ring box, a small navy velvet ring box tucked in Nathan's hand. It wasn't opened. It wasn't shown. But it was unmistakable, and that single frame turned Hope Valley on the fan base completely upside down. Rumors spread instantly. Some believed Nathan was preparing for a proposal but would be interrupted by unexpected news. Others were convinced the engagement would happen mid-season, marking one of the show's most emotional turning points. And some believed Elizabeth would be the one to propose, turning the entire narrative into something wonderfully unexpected. Whatever theory fans followed, one thing became undeniably clear. Season 13 was shaping up to be the romantic chapter viewers had longed for since Elizabeth first met Nathan on the outskirts of town all those seasons ago. Meanwhile, Elizabeth's emotional journey in the teasers felt deeper, more reflective, more mature. She was writing again, but not in the frantic, searching way she once did. Her writing this time had a softness, a clarity, a peace. One teaser showed her writing a line in her journal: "Maybe love does not come to replace, What was lost but to remind us that our hearts were never meant to remain in the shadows? As she lifted her eyes from the page, viewers saw that same unmistakable glow one she hadn't worn since early Hope Valley days, when life first surprised her with love. Another moment that captivated fans was a shot of Elizabeth talking to Rosemary in the Coulter living room. This scene had laughter, tears, and a moment when Elizabeth touched her heart and whispered, "I think I'm finally ready." Rosemary's expression said everything viewers needed to know: shock, joy, and a profound sense of relief that her best friend had found her way to happiness again. Rosemary had always believed Nathan was the man for Elizabeth, even when Elizabeth herself wasn't ready to see it. And now, after so much heartache, miscommunication, and longing, it finally seemed within reach. But season 13 teasers didn't just revolve around emotional confessions and romantic gestures. There were signs of new beginnings woven throughout. Hope Valley reminders that love, community, and growth always moved in harmony there. Little Jack was shown riding his pony with Nathan walking beside him, and the smile on the boy's face was pure, unfiltered joy. There was a shot of Elizabeth watching them both from a distance, her eyes shimmering. Not because she was uncertain, but because she finally understood that Nathan wasn't just a man she cared for. He was someone who had quietly, consistently loved her child too. And that kind of love, tender and selfless, was rare. The ring mystery only grew after fans saw a second teaser. This time, the velvet box wasn't in Nathan's hand, it was on his dresser. A simple, elegant ring inside, glinting in the sliver of morning sunlight. Nathan reached for it, paused, and then closed the box with a deep breath. One could almost hear the thoughts racing through his mind. Was it too soon? Was Elizabeth ready? Was he ready? But the look in his eyes said something different. He was willing to wait, willing to risk everything, willing to step into a future even if uncertainty still lingered. This season seemed determined to give fan-favorite characters new light. Little moments revealed depth. Nathan's quiet conversations with Bill about courage and timing. Elizabeth's talk with Abigail in a heartfelt cameo that surprised fans. And even moments of gentle silence where nothing needed to be said because the love between Elizabeth and Nathan radiated in every glance, every pause, every soft smile. What struck viewers most about the teasers was the emotional symmetry. So many scenes echoed early moments from past seasons, but now with a sense of resolution and maturity that only time could shape. Elizabeth reading by lantern light. Nathan standing outside her door with something on his mind. A knock, a hopeful look, a pause before answering. Each shot mirrored a past moment, but this time the emotions felt aligned rather than conflicted. And then came the shot that no one had expected. Elizabeth wearing a delicate bracelet, not just any bracelet, a bracelet that looked strikingly similar to the one Nathan once tried to give her in season 8. During the chapter of misunderstandings and heartbreak. Except this one had a new charm, one shaped like a tiny gold heart. The implication wasn't subtle. It was purposeful, meaningful, intentional. It meant she was ready to receive the love she once turned away, ready to embrace a future she had once feared. That single prop told a story deeper than any line of dialogue. Another breathtaking scene teased Elizabeth, walking up the steps of the Mountie office. She stood outside the door, holding something in her hand, a folded note. Fans paused, slowed down, replayed that moment dozens of times. The note had Nathan's name written on it in her handwriting. What was inside? A confession, a question, a declaration of love. Elizabeth took one slow breath before slipping the note under the door and walking away. With a smile so gentle that fans knew it wasn't written for drama. It was written for closure. And then came the final teaser clip, released only days after the first. It was short, barely 3 seconds. But in true Hallmark fashion, those 3 seconds managed to break the internet for the fandom. Nathan standing outside Elizabeth's house, the moonlight glowing behind him, the ring box now visible in his hand. He looked nervous, hopeful, prepared for whatever would come next. The screen cut to black just as he knocked on the door. Fans screamed. Hope Valley held its breath, and everywhere, hearts raced with the same question. Would Elizabeth say yes? But the beauty of the writing in season 13 seemed to suggest that this engagement tease wasn't simply about a proposal. It was about honoring the past, embracing the present, and choosing a future built on trust, healing, and genuine love. Elizabeth wasn't stepping into a new romance because she was lonely or searching. She was stepping in because she had finally reached a place where love no longer felt like a betrayal of her past, but a celebration of her heart's capacity to grow again. Nathan, too, had changed. Gone was the man who once carried guilt and uncertainty like armor. Season 13 showed a man ready to build a family, ready to open his heart fully, ready to step into responsibility with joy instead of fear. And for a man like Nathan Grant, who had spent years believing he wasn't enough, that